Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Mason here from the Detox Dudes. What's happening? Let's talk about a little trick for empaths, okay? Intuitive empaths, as you may know, you are probably super sensitive, and myself included, I needed to learn how to have thicker skin, okay? I needed to learn how to not take things personally and have thicker skin, okay? How is this done and why is it important? If you've ever noticed, if you're a sensitive person, you may find yourself multiple times a day taking something on personally, hearing something someone says or seeing what somebody does and taking it on personally and judging yourself. Your thoughts immediately change about yourself and your journey, and you just start going into the negative self-chatter, right? Really, what that means is that you took something on personally. So how do we have thicker skin? How do we not take things personally, right? We hear it all the time. Don't take it personally, don't take it personally. How do we actually do this? We do this by recognizing other people's junk, okay? One of the biggest problems on the planet is that people aren't owning their own shit, okay? It's totally fine to have baggage and junk and shit. That's fine, that's normal, that's reasonable. But where it gets out of hand is when we don't own it and we fling it towards other people. Okay, Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body and how the pain body in one person wants to activate the pain body in another, okay? So one way of doing this is with words. Words are like weapons, right? So if somebody's having a bad day and their pain body is active and they're just raging, the first thing they're gonna wanna do, especially being as part of this world and not a spiritual being, right, is they're gonna wanna give it to somebody else. I can't handle this pain, somebody else fucking share this burden with me. And this is in essence the virus, the collective virus that we're dealing with. This is how it manifests. Pain flinging itself to something else, causing more pain, causing more pain. Literally 2 days ago, a guy cut me off on the road, and it wasn't just a cutoff, it was a malicious, like I was trying to change lanes and he slowed down to prevent me from changing lanes and he just kept fucking with me. It was a malicious sort of road rage on his end. Like clearly he was like just having a terrible day and really probably a terrible life. And I pride myself on forgiveness and joy and peace, but fucking A, man, I rolled down my window and I started cursing him off. I was like, you motherfucker, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. You know, old Josh 1.0 came back, and you know, that's okay. I didn't really have any guilt about it, but my point here is that, you know, the next 20 minutes I was in a rage. I was getting ready to cut him off and like pull my car over and fight him. And this is somebody, me, who's been heavily invested in a spiritual journey for 4.5 years at this point. So it's a little ridiculous, right? So imagine somebody who doesn't have the awareness that I have or the cultivation and practice that I've developed for myself. You know, they're gonna be gone for the next day, maybe in a rage. So this is how the virus latches on from person to person to person. The collective virus of pain and suffering and just the virus. So how can we change it? How can we help ourselves? Well, by immediately recognizing when it's someone else's shit. Look, the more and more whole you become through detox, through self-love, through all the modalities I talk about, the more and more you get to look at somebody else speaking and immediately know what it is that's truth versus what it is that's their own baggage, right? It's, of course, you know, it may be a gift that some people have that maybe, but I believe we all have it. It just needs to be chiseled out and fine-tuned. So we must know when it's someone else's baggage attempting to be flung at us, and we shouldn't pick it up. Guys, the baggage is coming our way. It's this bag of poop literally being sent to us, and we have a choice. Do we pick up this poop and eat it, or do we take this poop, put it down, not mine. Go back to its source, okay? And this is a practice that must be cultivated. And it's a dynamic awareness. It happens, you must do it in the moment. And what do I mean by that? Well, if somebody's flinging their poop at you, it's not just about sitting there and not picking it up and meditating and breathing and saying, I'm not gonna pick this up, not gonna pick this up. It's an active practice of, hey man, not cool. Or, no thanks. Or, hey dude, I think actually this is your problem, not mine. Or, great to meet you, gotta go. Anything of that sort, whatever the proper course of action is in the moment, you must take so as to not take on the junk, okay? So as to know what is that person's baggage seeping out of them versus what is their truth coming out to teach you, okay? So, super important for people who need to have thicker skin. I'll give you another story. You know, I started this YouTube channel and I'm quite blessed, honestly. Maybe it's because I'm authentic. Maybe it's because I'm not really trying to fucking sell anything to you guys, but I've had nothing, mostly positive comments. But every once in a while, I'll just get a ridiculously nauseating, gross comment that it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what is wrong with you? And I was really trying to figure out, like, what is it? Why is it that these comments exist? Why is it that this person hates me so much or hates what I'm saying? And I did a YouTube search. I typed in Mozart, like Mozart Symphony, one of the most beautiful composers of all time. And I was like, all right, if this video has dislikes, I'll be in shock. Like, this is the most beautiful fucking music, right? And it literally had like 50,000 dislikes. Of course, the video had 10 million views, but it had 50,000 dislikes. And what I realized is that there's two things going on, right? So when I talk about thicker skin, of course I'm talking about in person, but I'm also talking about on the internet, right? And I'm also, in this sense, talking to myself here, not just talking to you guys, right? If there's 50,000 dislikes on that video, then what that means is that essentially people are just finding things to hate on, okay? There will always be haters, especially on the internet where you're invisible. It's so much easier to just take your shit. People are just seeping from their fucking pores this hatred, and they just need to put it on something. It's so painful for them. They're in so much fucking agony. They don't want to hold the burden on by themselves. They need to put it on something else, right? And this is one mechanism of perpetuating pain. Look, if you're in pain and you're constantly blaming other things and other people, you'll never escape your pain. So that's exactly how the pain perpetuates itself, right? If you're never gonna know the true root of your pain, how could you ever solve your pain? You're fucking trapped, you're stuck if you always think it's stuff on the outside world. Do you see where I'm coming from here? Do you see the game that's going on? So, what I realized is that it's just some people's jobs at their point, at their stage of the journey, to be a hater. And that's okay, because ultimately that anger and hatred is more fuel to be transmuted into love. Every time something bad happens to me, and I transmute the situation, I get stronger, better, wiser, more compassionate, more grounded, less likely to make the same dumb, or if I made a dumb decision, less likely to make it again. You see what I'm talking about here, guys? There's no such thing as good or bad. We cannot take everything personally. We cannot be these... when we take things on like that, we perpetuate the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We must stand in our sovereignty, know what's ours and know what's not ours, and drop the baggage. Drop the shit that's not yours. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the show. I was in the ranting mood today. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.